Good morning,
I do.
Grand Rising. Peace, power, and profit to everybody out there. All right, so today I'm going to go over another article discussing more retailer business and economic situations and business moves that they're making. Specifically, today is going to be more about Foot Locker and what they've done and what they're doing. I guess to kind of preserve capital because, as we know, the economy is going into a recession if we're not already in one. And a lot of times, during times like this, businesses normally start uh, cutting their spending or, you know, creating some capital preservation for themselves. So, I'm gonna talk about Foot Locker today, um, and I'm gonna be reading from this article from the street. Shout out to Oba African Emporium for that, giving us those different news and media websites where they drop a lot of gems to keep us informed. So I'm gonna read from here and then just give a little commentary on why, how, and things to look forward to the future. All right, so the title says popular sneaker athletic brand closes US stores and website. And under that, it says it has been a brutal year for retailers, full of unexpected closures and companies giving up businesses they spent hundreds of millions for. Man, that's tough. That is tough. And this is was written by Daniel Klein. Uh, and so here we go. It says during boom times, top brands often buy up and coming companies to expand their product offerings. Sometimes that's an effort by an established company to become a little more hip or latch on to a business that's different from its core operations. That's what you do in business. You try to, diversify. That way you can compete with other companies that's in your arena. Walmart, for example, between 2016 and 2018, went on a spending spree, buying a number of direct to consumer brands to supplement its web offerings. The purchases included ModCloth, Bare Necessities, Jet, Shoes.com, Moose Jaw, Bonobos, Eloquy. Um, It says the giant retailer Walmart spent more than $3 billion for Jet, but closed it only a few years after the deal
I can.
and sold off vast majority of its direct to consumer holdings. Sometimes you risk, you know, you take a bet and it don't pay off. You gamble, so you lose money by closing a business. So that's one important thing when you are a business owner or you want to be in business. You know, a lot of times you're going to take risks and it's not going to pay off, but you still have to stay the course. Okay, it says another example in 2000, Lululemon paid 500 million for Mirror, an at-home exercise product, and has stopped selling the product in favor of partnering with Peloton. So they just released that news not too long ago that they're doing a business. Well, they're collaborating with Peloton on some business ventures. And like I said, that's 500 mil. Walmart spent 3 billion. That's a lot of money. But when you're a multi-billion dollar corporation, crumbs, just to, do something different, see if some work for you. And if it don't, sell it, write it off, continue, continue moving. All right, so it's not quite the same, but Penn National Gaming tried to capitalize on the dedicated audience of the Barstool sports brand, spending hundreds of millions to acquire it, acquire it, only to sell it back to founder Dave Portnoy this year for $1. Crazy. That's crazy. Ridiculous, stupid, dumb uh, move right there for uh, pen. I don't understand why they did that, but like I said, sometimes you make dumb decisions and you got to live with it because you took the risk. Okay, it says big brands buying small brands often has a recipe for failure. In some cases, the acquired company merges with the brand that purchased it, but it's pretty common for the large brand to sell off the company and purchase for pennies on the dollar. Then there's the case of Foot Locker. Well, Foot Locker's 2021 purchase of the Atmos brand, which a news release called a digitally led premium global retailer headquartered in Japan for $360 million. What I would say, I didn't particularly shop from Atmos. I probably entered a couple raffles to see if I can win something, but like I've never been like anxious to go and shop with Atmos, even though I knew Foot Locker purchased them. It was try to expand it from Japan to over here to make consumers more engaged with that part of their business. And I really just never got with it in particular, in my opinion. It just is something, probably it's an Asian company, it's Japanese. So more of those people will be inclined to shop with them than, let's say my culture. And I didn't just really get a need or necessity or a why I would shop with them. And it's probably, something I didn't really, invest much time into doing, into looking at and try to see what they offer different. Uh, because it's online. There's not a store uh here where I live at. I think it's one in New York. Um, but so it was really no point for me to shop there, uh, because I have the main retailers already to shop from. Why do I need to shop at Atmos? Like, what are they doing different that I can benefit from? Uh, Whether it's business side or personal. Like, can I go get a hot release if I miss on the other retailers, and then they have pairs on standby or extra pairs? They get an extra shipment or something like that for me to grab after release date that I can go get. What is the purpose for me shopping at Atmos? It just doesn't. It didn't make sense, and it probably makes sense for other people. But let's continue on. It says Foot Locker had high hopes for Atmos. Foot Locker's business depends upon sneaker companies, including Nike and Adidas, being willing to sell its product to the retailer, diversifying its holdings into a company that not only operates retail stores but makes its own products. Seemed like a good idea at the time of the purchase in 2021. The company described Atmos as culturally connected brand featuring premium sneakers and apparel, an exclusive in-the-house label, collaborative relationships with leading vendors in the sneaker ecosystem, experiential stores, and a robust omni-channel platform, the company shared in a press release. Former Foot Locker chief executive Richard Johnson saw the brand as a way for the company to further embrace sneaker culture. I mean, that's cool. Uh, I'm not knocking that at all. Atmos is uniquely positioned through its innovative retail stores, high digital penetration, and distinctive products that have made it a key influencer of youth and sneaker culture, he said. Now, the sneaker retailer has decided to shut down the Atmos brand in the US. Foot Locker closes Atmos US stores and website. As recently as March, current CEO Mary Dillon called Atmos a key part of one of Foot Locker's four key growth pillars. One pillar was to focus on optimizing its fleet and unique store banners. The retailer said Atmos would serve as a ground for innovation while being rooted in Japanese culture. Footwear News reported. So they mentioned this on their earnings call, I believe, not last earnings, but the earnings before that, they mentioned, uh, I'm not sure which one it was, but they mentioned, it had all these big ideas about, expanding, the brand and whatnot. And I'm like, for Foot Locker, in my personal opinion, Foot Locker is not as good as it used to be. Uh, well, let's just talk about from a consumer's perspective. Uh, when it comes to like a highly released launch or a shoe that's coming out, their app crashes every time it's time to check to see if you won a reservation for that sneaker or that product. The app will crash. So Foot Locker needs to work on that. They need to work on their tech, the tech side, uh, finding ways to be able to take on the load or the amount of people that will log on at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Friday or the day before a particular release to check and see. So consumers can check and see if they won the reservation for that product. And I feel like this is a problem that they're skipping, and they have so many errors and so many IT issues with their app that they should be funneling money into that instead of these other brands or businesses that they're buying and trying to push, like Atmos. I mean, I get it. It's a Japanese company. That's cool. I'm not knocking that. And like I said, if it was probably bigger or there was an Atmos in Houston, then I would probably, it had to be a reason for me to shop there. If it's like every other store, why would you know, why would I shop there if it's like every other sneaker store? So you have sneaker boutiques and other sneaker stores that have something specific and special about them. And I don't know enough about Atmos, but what's special about it for me as a consumer? I'm not Japanese. Uh, I'm African American. So, how can you cater to me as a consumer? Like, what am I benefiting from shopping at your store that I can't get at a Finish Line, a GD Sports, a Big Sporting Goods, a Shoe Palace, so forth and so on? Like, what's special? Like, what can I get there that I can't get anywhere else? Is I guess how I'm looking at it. So, from that standpoint, it's it didn't work out for Foot Locker, and I think Foot Locker needs to work on that. Also, they need to just, but you know, continue with what they one of their objectives, and that was to open up more more stores, physical buildings. Moving out of malls and building more power stores for people to actually go to in their communities instead of having to go to the malls because uh, they talked. There was an article about that a while back as well about them closing stores in malls. They started with Foot Action. They closed Foot Action, closed that business, uh, which I don't know why. You closed Foot Action to give more money to Atmos and some of these other brands and stores you were dealing with, and none of it's panning out. So why did you close Foot Action? Then they turned around and closed Eastbay, which was their e-commerce online store, and they was going to start opening stores or brick and mortars for Eastbay. And I'm like, well, why would you close? Now you close Foot Action, and then you close Eastbay, and then now you closing Atmos. So, like, what was the point of closing those two brands that were under your banner and then buying Atmos and these other brands, and now you're closing those. It goes back to what I said earlier. Businesses, you make decisions, you make uh, risky decisions, and a lot of times they don't pay off. A lot of times they don't pay off. And then we even read it up there in the article too. I think speaking about Lululemon or Walmart, and I'm just like, you could have kept Foot Action and East Bay. Foot Action more than East Bay because Foot Action was actually a original, and sneakerheads, we love that. We love that. We love the idea of having 3 or 4 different stores under the Foot Locker brand to be able to shop at and get something different. You have Champ Sports, you have Foot Action, and you have Foot Locker itself, and then you added East Bay. East Bay is a original OG from back in the '90s because I grew up on East Bay. You know, I used to order football equipment from East Bay. I used to order shoes from East Bay. Like, the little magazines that they used to have. Like, that is a culturally a culturally stamped company that, you decided to get rid of, but you didn't really put no effort in. And I get it because, it's centered around this economy that we're in because you had the pandemic and then you had all of this uh, money printing and or quantitative easing. So you had all of this stuff going on, and then I guess you decided that I need to get rid of something. But you Foot Action and East Bay, you should have kept, or you should try to get back at this point, since you bought these other brands and they're not working out for you because you was trying to diversify and be different. Nobody's knocking that, and you still got a lot of good going on for you with New Balance. Love New Balance now. New Balance very popular. Um, Puma with LaMelo Ball and everything they have to offer, something different. So all of that is cool, but you took a lot of our history away, a lot of our childhood away with Foot Action and East Bay. So anyway, let's get back to the article. But I had to go on a rant because I'm looking at this from both views as a business and a consumer. The consumer side says you're an idiot for, taking our childhood away with things like that. But on the business side, I'm saying you're an idiot because you got rid of 2 businesses to invest in another business, which you're now getting rid of. Or you're getting rid of in the US because it don't fit the culture, and you didn't have a lot of stores in the first place. So why did you get rid of Foot Action and East Bay? Why? Because they wasn't getting more traffic in. Like I said, all of this goes back to brick and mortar, in my opinion. The malls are not, the same as far as foot traffic as it has been in the past. This is why Foot Lockers need more brick and mortar stores. Uh, just like Nike needs more brick and mortar stores, even though that's one of their goals. We need more brick and mortar places, for this instead of, people going to the mall. The days of, you know, teenagers and stuff going to the mall like in the past, that's in the past. That's done with. Yes, people still go to the mall. You still get a lot of traffic, but not as much as it used to be because over the years, over decades, time changes. You got different generations now. Uh, this generation is more about tech. What can I have in my hand? What can I do with the cell phone or tablet or laptop or whatever in my hands? I don't have to go to the mall. I can do everything online. I can virtually shop. Why do I need to go to the mall? I don't even have to hang out at the mall. There's just too many other places I can go to hang out. And this is what you gotta think about. So anyway, let's get back to it. It says, as recently as March, current CEO Mary Dillon called Atmos a key part of one of Foot Locker's four key growth pillars. One pillar was to focus on optimizing its fleet and unique store banners. The retailer said Atmos will serve as a ground for innovation while being rooted in Japanese culture, Footwear News reported. That strategy has changed, and Foot Locker has decided to close all Atmos US stores as well as its website. The brand will continue to exist, but it will be sold only outside the US from where it was in the beginning, basically. The Atmos brand has a unique and authentic identity, character, and spirit. Given the strength of Atmos in Japan and Asia, we are focused on further investing in this market, Atmos General Manager Patrick Walsh said in a statement. Though in line with the focus in our plans for simplification, we have made the strategic decision to close our 3 Atmos stores in North America and our Atmos US website. So you only had 3 stores here, 3 stores, which probably was in LA, New York, and maybe Chicago. Let me look that up. Let me look that up real quick. All right, yeah. I was using my phone. Let me look that up. You only had 3 stores, so uh, you got to have more stores than that. Let's see. Oh, so there's one in Philadelphia. Let's see. One in Philadelphia, one in New York, and one in DC. This is funny. This is funny. This is uh, very strange. Because I don't know about the Asian population in those 3 places, even though I've been to all 3. But LA, known for Asian culture, big Asian culture. Or hell, California itself. Uh, where else? I was thinking of somewhere. Houston, big Asian culture here as well. Off top, I get it. New York, for sure. It's New York. But how did you come up with these 3 cities to put this company? Obviously, I'm nobody. I don't work for Foot Locker, obviously, um, and I'm sure they have, the best analysts and decision makers to make these decisions. But I'm just thinking about whenever you, whenever you know, whatever you see or movies, whatever that's being promoted to you, especially during uh, anything with karate or martial arts, 9 times out of 10, those movies are going to be in LA or in California somewhere in that LA area. You didn't have a Japanese store in Los Angeles. That's crazy. Everything was all East Coast. I don't weird as hell. Uh, maybe we can look up city by city and see what the Asian population is in those cities. And maybe they made the determination based off that. But if I were to open a Japanese based sneaker culture store, my first thought would be to California or to the Los Angeles area, San Francisco. Like man, that's just off of me watching movies. And studying stuff like that and just being in LA, there's a huge population. Even here in Houston, there's a huge Asian population here. And I'm just like, I've been to DC, I've been to New York, you know, I've been to Philly. But that's just me. That's my opinion. And we can go get the data and statistic and say, oh well, it's more Asian population here than it is there, so forth and so on. And I'm gonna look that up too, just because I'm a extremist when it comes to details and information and research. So anyway, it says, though in line with the focus and our plans for simplification, we have made the strategic decision to close our 3 Atmos stores in North America and our Atmos US website. Foot Locker posted a $5 million loss for the second quarter. Atmos sales dropped by 10%, which was in line with the company's overall 9.9% drop. And that's the end. So, I mean, I get it. I understand why they did it. One, like I said, is the economy we're in. Inflation is raging back. Consumer spending and savings have evaporated. I mean, stimulus money is gone. People are using credit cards more than ever before. So I get it. I do. Excuse me. But yeah, man, that's it. With this article, it came out a few days ago, and I'm just now getting to, make videos and making a video about it. So, but yeah, man, that's the reality. Dealing with a lot of retail stores, they make risky bets, and sometimes they don't pay off. So, until next time, I will catch y'all later. Peace, power, and profit. This is another Wall Street Logic reporting. Peace, power, and profit. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.